Okay, so let's get started. So welcome everyone. We're very happy that you're here with us today, that you're making time in your busy days to be with us. We're going to be sharing about resources that hopefully will help your students throughout the development of research projects. We're hoping that you have students that are going to be participating in the GLOBE IVSS or International Virtual Science Symposium. We're going to be providing this presentation first in English during this half an hour, and then we're going to switch to Spanish. And so, yeah, welcome and thank you for being here with us. Next slide, please. So I would like to start by introducing myself. My name is Rosalba Giarratano. My pronouns are she, her. I am an outreach coordinator with the science education team at NASA Langley Research Center. I am originally from Mexico City. I live now in Queens, New York with my husband and my son. I am part of the GLOBE Clouds team, and I am also a member of the GLOBE Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Working Group. I love working with students and with teachers, and I am currently pursuing a PhD in education. And with me, I have Marilé Colón Robles, who is going to introduce herself next.
Thank you, Rosalba, and hello, everybody. My name is Marilé Colón Robles. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the project scientist for the cloud observations within the GLOBE program. I am originally from San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is an island in the Caribbean. I am also part of the GLOBE Science Working Group, so I'm excited to be talking about the International Virtual Science Symposium with you with those two different hats. I am a daughter, a sister, a wife, and a mother of two young ladies, which are right there, and you might have seen them in some of the videos that we've done in a few years. I am a trained scientist focused on air and clouds. I love playing volleyball, and I grew up playing music. So those are some of the pictures of the things that I love to do. Now, no matter how your students react to working on a science project, if some of them are more like in the picture or they're excited to do a science project, we are here for you. So at the end of the presentation, we're going to be sharing how you can reach us, and we would be happy to answer questions and help out with any projects that you may have. Now, the IVSS, or the GLOBE International Virtual Science Symposium for 2023, there's a big emphasis on collaboration, and they're encouraged to explore the Earth as a System protocol. And all these are linked from the GLOBE website. And projects can be accepted as early as 1st of January, all the way through March 10th of 2023. There are many resources available, and it's always good to look at past projects in IVSS. So we're going to be sharing all these links throughout the presentation. Now, Earth as a System. This is an increasing way of looking at our Earth and of your area. So it's the combination of different measurements to then see how it's behaving, how is everything connected. Now, the Science Working Group has written protocol bundles, which are when you combine these observations, how can they help you study a system or the climate of your area? So there is different ones that can help you with Earth as a System, depending on where you're at. They can be focused on climate, on mosquitoes, on variability on the end. So there's different ones. So I invite you to go to this website and look at the protocol bundles in the Science Working Group are always excited to help you out if you have any questions with them. Now, us as the Clouds team, woo, thank you for being here. We have also developed some ideas or project starters for you to look at. These are great as a quick activity to do in the classroom, or you can extend it all the way to being in a project for an IVSS or SRS, a Student Research Symposium. These are under the GLOBE Clouds page within the GLOBE site. If you haven't been here, you might be a little bit, it might look a little bit different, but the protocol has its own page where we highlight how for each observation of clouds that you submit to the GLOBE program, we match it to satellite data, and then you receive those emails straight to you within 24 hours of making the observation. And so let's go through some of these ideas. We have the original starter ideas, and then we've added some new ones thanks to Rosalba's son as our test subject and creator, Joseph Giarratano. So thank you to Joseph Giarratano. We have some ideas on how to make it relevant. Some past projects have asked students about what did they think was the most prevalent cloud, or the cloud that they would see the most throughout the year, and then see if the students were right or wrong. This new one is a little bit similar, where it relates the cloud cover to your emotions or how you're feeling in that day, because there has been some research on if it's a super cloudy and dark day, your emotions might not be happy and joyful as if they were in a sunny day. The suggestion here is to use emojis, which the students use already to communicate with. So then you can create a graph or bar charts and then get everybody involved and connect emotions to these observations. Here are my girls again with our dog Joey. There has been knowledge of animals being able to sense or interpret weather events or other types of events in nature. And so involving their pets or any animals that might be nearby, or birds, anything like that. There are some suggestions on how to do that. So this is another of those new ideas. Can your pet detect the weather better than you or not? There are some extensions for each of these to talk to a professional, which is one of those awards that you can get through IVSS. And for this one, the students can talk to a veterinarian or a pet owner or a store owner to see their experiences by working so much with animals. You can also look at past research projects for your help. You can go to GLOBE Student Research Projects, and then you can look for any of them that have clouds. So you can go in under Atmosphere, click Clouds, and any of the projects that have had clouds will come up. You can also divide them by grade level to help you see how they structured, how they did the poster presentation, all these things. Now I'm going to pass it to Rosalba to give you some other tips.
Thank you, Marilé. So another idea, not only to come up with ideas for the research project, but also to connect with other people in the community, is to join the GLOBE measurement campaigns and or intensive observation periods. So during these periods of time, GLOBE encourages students and teachers and citizen scientists to make as many observations as possible, which is good because then, of course, students have more data to work with. But another benefit is that during these campaigns or intense observation periods, sometimes the scientists that are leading the campaigns also have webinars. And so through these webinars, you and your students can learn more about the science behind these campaigns, but also, again, you can connect with other people who are also interested in doing research about that topic. So as Marilé was mentioning, there's a lot of emphasis in collaboration, always in GLOBE, but especially for this upcoming IVSS. So that's another way in which you can connect, again, with other teachers, with other schools that are also doing research about that topic. So that's another great thing about these campaigns or intensive observation periods. Next slide. And so once again, speaking about collaboration, there is a web page in the GLOBE website where you can look for people to work with. And this is something that you can do to find other teachers, other scientists, or even alumni, some students that have worked with GLOBE before and now they're professionals. They're still working with GLOBE because they love the program so much. So you can also get connected with them and you can look for people who speak another language, or maybe you want to have an international collaboration, which could be a really awesome learning opportunity for your students. So you can also look for people that are doing GLOBE projects in other countries. And also, again, we're part of the GLOBE Clouds team. So if you're working with your students in any project that has to do with GLOBE Clouds and you want to get support from us, we're here for you. And we're going to be sharing our email addresses. So that's also something you don't even, for us, you don't even have to look in the in the webpage. You can just let us know. You can just email us and we will be very happy to support you and your students in the development of the research projects. Next slide. So another tip is to look at some webinars that the GLOBE Implementation Office has on their YouTube channel. There have been many webinars that have to do with helping students throughout the different stages of the research project. And they can be really helpful. So for example, there's one about developing a good research question. This webinar was recorded both in American Sign Language and in English. And anyway, for all these webinars, if you click on the closed captioning, you can get subtitles in YouTube in other languages as well, if you needed them. And so in this particular webinar, the presenters went over like all the different aspects of a good research question. So they provided practical tips and examples on how to make sure that the research question is interesting, it is clear, focused, it is complex enough, but not too simple either. So it is concise and so that it is testable. So a pretty helpful webinar for you. Next slide, please. There is another webinar that could be helpful to your students that is about conducting a literature review. Sometimes this can be an overwhelming aspect of a research project for some students. This webinar was presented in English and in Spanish. And so the presenter once again went over very practical tips. In this case, about how to use professional databases to look for journal articles that can support the research or that could also help in generating ideas for a research project. He also explained how to read these articles, like tips, for example, like if you find an article that could be helpful, you can first read the abstract and the conclusions without spending all the time in reading the whole article, you know, at the first time. And then you can decide if that is actually a helpful thing for your research. He also went over tips on how to get organized. Sometimes students find a couple of good articles then they don't save the searches, then they're trying to find the articles again, and they waste more time trying to find the articles. So he also went over tips on how to get organized with those searches, and also on how to save the bibliography, things like that. Next slide, please. So there's this other webinar about how to interpret the data. So sometimes the students have collected the data and they don't know what to do with it afterwards. Or sometimes students do not feel like they have enough data. It could be that they could not go outside many times. So in this webinar, this one was presented only in English, the presenter explained how to also like download data. Obviously, GLOBE already has tons and tons of data in the website. So even if the students didn't have enough time to collect data, they can also download data from the GLOBE website. So the presenter explained how to do that, also how to clean the data, and then what to do with it, how to search for patterns in the data, how to do, for example, a time series, or how to do a linear regression. And I think she did a very good job at explaining it in a very friendly way, so it's not an intimidating process for the students. Next slide, please. One last webinar that I would like to recommend is about creating a research poster. So that's another stage of the research project that could be intimidating for the students. They don't know how to organize the information, how to present it. So this webinar was recorded in English and in Spanish, and the presenter went over not just the content, all the different items that have to be or that should be on the poster, but also how to manage things like the layout, the colors, the size of the posters. So very practical tips as well. Next slide. And so also regarding to the poster design, there is also a poster template that was done by the GLOBE Mission Earth group that I find very, very helpful, because it's not just the template with the different sections that should be present in the poster, but also it has sentence starters. So I think it's really well scaffolded, like it makes the task less overwhelming. Like if students don't even know what should go in each section or how to start writing the information in each section, this already comes with those sentence starters that can make the task much more approachable. So if you think that this could be helpful for your students, we will be happy to share this template with you. And once again, we're going to share our email addresses, which is in the next slide. So those are our email addresses. And yes, we are also recording this webinar, so that is also going to be shared. But now we have time to answer any questions you may have. And so, yes, I see that Anna, it's so nice to see you, Anna. Is asking if this is going to be shared. So yes, the recording is going to be posted on the website. And
there have been some people here who have asked us to just chat through some ideas. We are also able to do that. So if you have an idea of making cloud observations and turning it into a science project, that is perfectly fine. We would love to talk about that too. The website also has ways to how to best read a satellite match table, which you get when you make a cloud observation. And here really soon, maybe in the next week, there's going to be a new blog post that I just wrote on how to look through your satellite match table step by step by step. And that can be also a neat IVSS project for your student. So thank you everybody so much. We will put the presentation on the GLOBE Clouds website, correct, Rosalba?
yes. I think we can also share it on the IVSS page, but
It'll also be available on the IVSS page, as well as the recording of the presentation. We'll be sure to let you know through email of all these once everything is up online.
yeah. So thank you again for being here.